What is going on, everyone? Matthew97657 here. Today we are back with yet another figure unboxing and review. And as the title says, it's going to be the Nanmu Studios Alpha Eternal Empress of Origin. So with that being said, nothing more to it. They got on right on into it. And alas, we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the box. You can kind of see the clear packaging to showcase the figure within it. And then you have some nice, just standard package design as well. So pretty cool. This is from Nanmu Studios, who I have only ever done one other figure with them, or at least purchased one of their figures, with that being the Tiger Blade Velociraptor that they did. I think that was maybe like a couple months ago by now. But the newly released Origin Empress is here. So let's go ahead and just get on into it. There's really no time to waste here. Obviously, the I was gonna say paint scheme, like it was like a car, but obviously the stylization of the paint job, I guess it still sounds like a car. The paint applications, there we go. The paint applications are obviously kind of referencing the original Tyrannosaurus Rex from the first Jurassic Park film, Roberta or Rexy. So that is that's fun. That's very fun. I always thought, hey, I had been seeing some of this on my timeline in terms of figures. Looks like it comes with some stands, right? That's pretty cool. And I was like, oh wow, didn't know this one was on the horizon. But here is the tail there. You can kind of see that. Next up, we'll go ahead and set the plastic down right over here. And this is the main body, of course. But yeah, I went ahead and saw a couple of reviewers get their hands on it. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is just another one of those out of the ballparks from Nanmu Studio. It looks like I did not get the bull. I think I just had to be super duper selective on which figures I am going with nowadays. So I figured I would just do, sorry, I'm going to try to put the tail in. It's already kind of giving me a little bit of trouble while I speak real quick. There we go. You heard the pop there. It's a little scary and honestly a little difficult to put in, but that's usually how most tails go for the most part. But nonetheless, here it is. Straight out of the packaging, and wow, I just love the bulk that this dinosaur has. I'm trying to get it balanced here in the best way that I can. We'll just do that for now. We'll just have the tail give a little bit of support and just do a little bit of a pose. So here is the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and my goodness, those face paint applications are just gorgeous. Look at that. I love the little like faded striping on the jaw there, and then kind of the dark colors below the eye into the lower part of the jaw here, which is just nice. And even the detailing itself, just look at that, boom. It's awesome to have a better camera now that can capture a lot of this detailing. It is just something I'm so grateful for. Not to say the other one was horrible, but this one just picks up a lot of things the other one didn't. So it is just beautiful, an absolute beautiful figure, and I really can't like keep going on it. It is so good. Wow. Okay, all right, calm down, Matt. Let's go ahead and open the jaw on the Tyrannosaur. There we go. It's very realistic, kind of like bloody gums that they go with the Nanmus, as you can see there, and then into the mouth itself, you can kind of see some of that. Trying to get as much light as I can, as well as there is some like bleeding there on the inside. There we go. That's a lot better to try and showcase. So very cool. I think it works both with the jaw open and closed, so that is just awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to the articulation already. So we obviously do have our headpiece here, and good Lord, that one can look, oh wow, okay. Honestly caught me off guard. This probably has better, I mean, not even probably, this does have better articulation than the Godzilla figures that want it to look up. So, wow, all right, what's the deal, right? Very good for looking up. Down does struggle a little bit. I can't look fully down as much as it can look up. So there's a little bit of that trade-off there. Left to right, pretty good. pretty flexible. We did up and down, and you can kind of do, you know, the all around. You have these two little neck joints here helping us out, and it feels smooth. It feels smooth, not like smooth to like, or it's about to fall off. As you saw, it doesn't stick, which does kind of suck. I always like it when it can stick the pose there. It probably can, it just needs a little bit of tweaking, but once they get loose every once in a while, it just can't hold it anymore. But still very good nonetheless. Obviously, we do have the jaw. I'm going to try and open it as much as I can. I want to say that's as much as it can go without, you know, snapping it. So pretty standard, what you expect. Moving on to the arms here, we do have, okay, I cannot move it there, but it looks like we can move it up. We can't really move it up like that, but we do have, I guess, it's not an elbow bone, but I guess if I had to, you know, think of something as similar to us as possible to reference that, I would say that there. So pretty cool. Pretty, you know, standard, which you might imagine. Then we have this big piece here, which, you know, it can look a little bit offsetting, I won't lie, but I think it's just to give it that extra kind of body tilt. You know, you can move it up, you can move it down, and then as you saw, the side and side. So it gets the job done. I think that's just something you have to trade off with articulatable figures, is you kind of do have to trade off the sculpt being tooled to fit that articulation. Moving on towards the legs here, looks like we can go to around there, coming back, coming up, probably less than that in all honesty. We do have a little bit of a knee joint, a little bit tighter than the other joints, but it can kick out to around there. And then kind of just a standard following point there. And then moving on to the lower legs, we can come all the way around. It didn't feel like I wanted to commit to it, but you can if you would like. You can go all the way around there. And then obviously we do have the foot joint as well, which can come all the way around. Question mark? Yes, it can. Once again, probably not the ideal way to move it, but still pretty cool. Even the toes have some articulation, which is very nice. Very nice indeed. You can get some articulation there with all of them. There we go. And that is it. There's that there. Just trying to reposition it here. And then moving on towards the tail, which obviously was the plug-in piece. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of articulation, it looks like. So you can, you know, turn it. You can come up with it, which actually comes up pretty high. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting it to come that high. Down below, nothing too insane. And then obviously, once again, you can come around to the right side. So you do have a fair range of articulation with the tail, which is nice. I think having a good articulatable tail is nice. I'm pretty impressed with that. I don't know why I'm so impressed with the looking up stuff, but it's still very cool. I'm really glad that they just engineered this figure the way it is, because I think it's pretty darn good. And so, yeah, I mean, sorry if I like sped through that. That was not really my entire intention. I kind of just wanted to get everything as good as I can. I'm just trying to balance it here. And it's the one thing I would say I'm having just a little bit of trouble with. So I'm just trying to just balance it to the best of my ability. There we go, almost there. Okay, so I got it balanced like that. Probably not the best pose I could put it in. Probably requires some play. We do have these accessories, which are just stand pieces. I'm trying to think here. Oh, wow, okay. We have actual screws. So I'm probably going to have to come back on this one, see how all this operates. Because we do have a bag of very small screws here. And then we have like 2 little display stands. And then just a lot of acrylic plastic pieces that seem to connect to one another. Like these look like the little clamps that come in. So let me go ahead and try and figure this out. I might not be able to, I might, but let's go ahead and see if I can figure it out and see where to go from there. Here we go. All right, so unfortunately I was not able to, you know, get these small screws with the small nuts in there. It was just so darn hard. I mean, I would have had to have gotten a tiny wrench And I don't think I have the specific tool for that, but I do have my original Nanmu stand that came with the Velociraptor. So I imagine it's, you know, more or less the same thing where you kind of want to put the screws in. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, and lastly there's one there. But this one I believe came pre-assembled, because I would not have remembered, or I would have remembered having to do all that for that there. So I'm not really sure why the difference. Maybe just labor costs at the end of the day. Maybe it's something I will do if I can get my hands on a tiny wrench. Maybe I don't even need a tiny wrench and I'm just acting dumb. But I'd imagine it's pretty much the same thing as this type of stand, just so it can hold the Tyrannosaur like in a pose, so that it doesn't, so its probability of falling is decreased. So I imagine that's what it's kind of going for. But I was not able to do that, so I do apologize. So yeah, pretty much we are on the portion of the review, and if I hadn't shown off the full scale figure here, just look at that. I love the kind of like washed black striping here. It's just like barely noticeable within the kind of like brownish coloration, and I love the underbelly tone getting a lighter too. It just, wow, I'm just astonished with the paint job. I love it, I really do. I am, you know, rooting for Nanmu to keep going, because they are going. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our two comparisons for this review. And like I was saying, this is the first Nanmu figure I had, and this is the, I believe it was called Tiger Stripe or Tiger Blade, and obviously not in scale at all, which I guess is rather unfortunate. But if you want a good detailed figure here, then you have to sacrifice the scale for here. So obviously not in scale to one another in the slightest. But I think as display pieces, they will work well. Just based off of accuracy, I think they are going to look good on the shelf next to one another. And I'm very glad I decided to pick both of them up. So for my last comparison, we're going to go ahead and go down old Mattel lane here. And we do have our Rebirth Tyrannosaurus Rex. I forgot what the specific version of this was called, the like Chomp version, but just a little bit of a difference. Obviously, this one's more of just like a play toy. This one's more of like a collector's item. So there is a little bit of difference between, you know, the paint job, the scale, the articulation, stuff like that. Not to say this one's bad, obviously, because I think this is a pretty good figure in general, just off of the paint and the mold for the Tyrannosaur. Just the difference you would see between something like Nanmu and Mattel. I don't have a Hammond Collection Rex. That would be a more fair comparison. But I never really liked the way it looked. I think it looked a little bit like too elongated, if I had to describe it. And like the way that like the articulation was separated. And, you know, maybe my thoughts might change if I had the figure in hand. But at least from what I saw most of the time, I just wasn't really sold on the Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex. So it's nice that Nanmu has provided a very valid alternative to that. If, you know, you're not wanting the Hammond Collection one, I mean, even considering the fact that I don't think you can get the base Hammond version from Jurassic Park 1. I think their most recent one was the bull, actually, from The Lost World. I might be wrong on that. See, I wish it could just come down a little bit further down so you could get kind of like a chomping on the ground. That's the only real downside, I would say. Maybe I'm just not doing it too well. Well, that's a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit of an opening on the neck, but you can kind of do it. You just gotta mess with it a little bit more. So we'll just do that just as a cool little display piece. Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't even do like the back of the head here. There you kind of have some of the striping as well. So wow. I know I'm just kind of, oh, hold on, I spoke too soon. There we go. That's what I like to see. So even then, the complaint I did have immediately was just at the faults of my own. So wow, just still very impressed with this one. The only other thing I would say is that I'm having a little bit of stability problems, and that's mainly probably just me, the way I have everything angled. In terms of trying to get everything balanced. That's more than likely a me thing. That was my only real criticism with the articulation not being able to go down that much. You have to sacrifice a little bit of the sculpt there. But I mean, I'm a fan. I think this is it. I think you know, if you have the opportunity to pick up this Tyrannosaur, if you want something, you know, pretty darn close to the Tyrannosaur from the first movie, I mean, just kind of, I mean, they must have gone through all the models, the CGI models, the animatronic, stuff like that. So I got to commend Nanmu once again. They've definitely done a very, very good job. I think with that being said, realistically speaking, it would be a disservice if I did not grab the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. I don't know what the Nanmu name for that one is, but I think it would be an absolute disservice to not grab that and do a very, very fair comparison between the Nanmu and the Hammond collection. Sorry, I'm just like rambling. I'm like rambling, and then I'm also trying to like do this here. So a lot of fun can be had. Like I said, the only real thing I'm getting is a stability issue, and I wouldn't be having that if I didn't have the stand, but I always kind of like to have it without the stand. I think a lot of people do. Maybe I'm speaking for the minority in that one. I'd rather prefer not to have it with the stand, but obviously if you're going to protect it, you want it to not fall from the shelf. Ultimately, that's the goal there. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Just one last quick glance of glory for this Tyrannosaurus Rex. Gotta say, thoroughly impressed. Might even be contender for figure of the year already. Maybe. It's very good. And with the Spinosaurus coming out as well, I think it's coming out relatively soon. I wish maybe the jaw could open up a little bit more too, but I don't want to force it. It feels like I'm really forcing it. There we go. Come on. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like really phoning around here. Yeah, I gotta say, pretty impressed. Like I've been saying, sorry if now I'm I'm absolutely just losing it. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. We'll leave it there. Okay, so yeah, I think it would be an absolute disservice if I did not get the Spinosaurus, considering that is my favorite dinosaur, just in general. Obviously, thanks to Jurassic Park 3, because that's the one I grew up with, in terms of like being close to my year of birth. But I grew up with all the films. Very fun set of films, and very glad to have picked this one up. I think this is a very, very good Tyrannosaurus Rex figure from the first movie. I'd honestly probably say definitive, in all honesty. I actually really do like the smaller scale. You know, it's not huge. You don't want, to me at least, you don't want something that's going to like hog the shelf entirely. Obviously, you know, it's kind of weird that the raptors are almost as tall as the Tyrannosaur, but I think, I don't know what I'm thinking. I think that it sucks to see it happen, but I'm not going to gripe too much because they're not trying to bunch everything up and say, hey, this is a full in-scale line with one another. I just really appreciate the designs and the sculpting on them. So if I can showcase that, then I'm very happy with that. But, you know, let me know what you guys thought of the Nanmu, what is it called? Empress Origin Queen? Alpha Eternal Empress of Origin. Let me know what you guys thought of that Nanmu Studios figure. Hopefully the Spinosaurus is very good as well. Hopefully it is. But with that being said, for the last time, let me know what you guys thought of the Nanmu Studios. Hold on. Alpha Eternal Empress of Origins. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!